Hello, everybody, and welcome into this weather update. I've got an update on the new depression that is forming over the western Gulf and is pushing right on in to portions of southern Texas as it's expected to become a brief tropical storm for us here. That's coming up in this One Nation weather forecast for America. So let's go ahead and hop right on into it. You can see here 35-mile-per-hour winds as of the 5 p.m. Eastern Time update for us here from the National Hurricane Center on Monday. And the latest cone is indicating this is going to become a tropical storm over the course, really, of the next several hours and then maintain that strength right as it pushes on shore in southern Texas. The center of it will be in far southern Texas, but the impacts will especially be on that northeastern side, which is why the tropical storm warnings extend a little ways up to the south, kind of central coast for us there of Texas. You can see the yellow tropical storm warnings on your screen as I play this out. Here we go towards around 2 a.m. Central Time on your Tuesday. Some of the heavier rain bands already starting to push on in, and I wouldn't be shocked if we see a brief spin-up tornado in some of these, even on the western side of this as they push in. We've kind of got a weaker system for us here, a little bit more sprawled out, and it's almost more like one of our low-pressure systems we could see on land that spawns some tornadoes. Here we go towards 7 a.m. This is as you're waking up on your Tuesday. You might have an early wake-up call in a place like Corpus Christi. Be ready for very heavy rain to be pushing on in, and this isn't a tragic situation, but we definitely need to just be ready for some of the very heavy downpours, especially during your morning commute if you are going to work on your Tuesday. And then by the time we hit 4 p.m. Central Time, some of these storms still pushing on through. And then the activity that I would watch as we go towards the evening on Tuesday. Notice most activity pushes out, but we still have to watch these few lingering cells back on the far back end of this, because I wouldn't be shocked if some brief pokes of sun maybe come out through the clouds, and we could get a brief spin-up tornado out of these storms as they try to kind of meander and push on off towards the west and catch up to the low-pressure center moving away. Now, the chance for tropical storm force winds is around 40%. This is for sustained tropical storm force winds. It's very given chance that we're going to have at least some 40, 50, maybe even 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts come out of this system. But as you can see, that chance for the tropical storm force winds really is in that Corpus Christi area down towards Brownsville. That area is at least seeing that low to medium chance that we could see some sustained winds of that force. That wind would push on shore around the sunrise time frame on Tuesday. While this shows 2 a.m. trying to push on shore, that is the earliest possible arrival. The average arrival will be right around that sunrise time for us here, around that 8 a.m. Central Time. So a low tornado risk is there, as I mentioned a moment ago. You can see from Del Rio and Laredo. This will go into Mexico as well, by the way. This just isn't pictured. And then you can see that risk goes all the way back to the coast. In Houston, overall clear, but I would still watch out for one or two cells to move overhead, and that could be producing a brief spin-up even in a place like Galveston, say. Scattered minor to moderate flooding will be occurring out of these very heavy rain totals. You can see the level 2 flood threat is really confined there to the far southern tip of Texas. How much rain is going to be falling? You can see pretty much Houston southward. That's where the rain's going to be, and really, even if you're in Houston, Galveston, that's where it's going to be below 1 inch of rain. That's just why nothing's pictured there. You can see those dark green and those couple yellow spots. That's where we'll see the heaviest rain, up to 4 to 6 inches. So in a place like Corpus Christi, this is the type of event. This is a tropical flood and tornado risk. The tornado risk is overall low, with the flooding risk and wind risk being the highest possibilities for us here, and the duration is going to be throughout your Tuesday. I like using this scale for you here just to give you kind of a better idea of exactly what's going on in a place that's going to be hardest hit by a system. So let's look at the gusty winds that will be to 60 miles per hour. These will be possible as we go into our Tuesday morning. Kind of panning around here, you can see the cursor hovering over some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, but overall those will be offshore early in the morning. Some 30, 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts pushing onshore. Places like Houston may be seeing some 10 to 20-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That will increase as we head into your morning hours, your mid-morning time frame during that morning commute, say, for us here in portions of South Texas. We could see some 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts, a good average for you there. Corpus Christi just south of town for you there. Maybe some 60-mile-per-hour gusts also pushing on in. And then as this pushes inland, we'll see some kind of a wider spread 30-mile-per-hour wind gust zone in that area. Rain totals town by town. Let's play this out. You can see very, very heavy rain totals pushing on in anywhere you see really the red force there. There's not a whole lot of that red necessarily making its way on shore for us. You can see 1 to 3 inches, again, the overall average. But in some of these reddest spots that we see come on land, we could see, again, those brief spots get up to 6 inches, which is that half-a-foot mark. Certainly something that we'll be monitoring closely. And arguably, as this hits some terrain in Mexico, that could be actually where some of the heavier rain totals get spawned out of this. But take a look at this. You can see maybe more like a foot of rain offshore. So we know the moisture this storm is capable of, make sure you're prepared for more rain than your town is expected to get just because of the precipitable water available with the system. By the way, Tropical Storm Franklin is continuing in the Caribbean, about to make its northerly turn for us here and push on into the southern coast of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. There are tropical storm warnings there, watches on the northern coast, and then eventually it'll push back up over the open waters with a chance to become a hurricane then. But for now, bringing 6 to 12 inches of rain to places like especially the Dominican Republic, where topography will, yes, tear this storm apart, but the problem with tearing it apart, it's got to squeeze out all that moisture, so that's certainly something we're watching. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and have a great day. Here are the credits.